In this video I'm going to explain how the Molsketch library package is to be used on the Windows platform. First, let's head over to the download page of Molsketch on SourceForge. As you may notice, there is a new auxiliary folder from which we will later be downloading those library packages, but for now let's download the main application. While the main application is downloading, let's head over to the auxiliary folder and download the libraries. There are two files to be downloaded here. One is the Molsketch shared libs file, which contains the DLLs needed for OpenBabel. And the other one is the OpenBabel format collection, which is slightly larger and contains essentially all the formats that come with OpenBabel. Let's first download the shared libs. And now the OpenBabel format collection. And while we're waiting for the OpenBabel format collection to download, we can take this opportunity to start up Molsketch already. So I'll just create a folder on my desktop called Molsketch and extract the two files in the Molsketch archive to that folder. There is one that's the Molsketch exe file or executable, and one is the adapter, more or less, for the OpenBabel library. And after that, we are now ready to fire up Molsketch, and you can see the release notes as in the Linux version. Now let's check the OpenBabel indicator. As you can see, both the OpenBabel indicator and the INCI format indicator show a minus sign, so neither of them could be loaded, and accordingly the Wikidata query is still disabled. So let's close Molsketch again, and by now we've finished downloading the shared libs file. That archive contains a folder within which you find all the necessary shared libraries, so all the DLL files, and it also contains a legal folder where you can find all the licenses for the libraries that are included in that archive. In order for Molsketch to find these libraries, they have to be in the path, so in one of the directories that constitute the system path, or, and that is probably the simplest way, in the same folder as the Molsketch binary itself, so the Molsketch working directory in other words, and this is where I'm going to put them. Okay, let's give it another try. Start up Molsketch, and as you can see, we now have OpenBabel support, but we're still missing the INCI support, which we need for the Wikidata query. By now the download of the OpenBabel formats has also finished, and we can extract them to a folder of our choosing, because we have to explicitly tell OpenBabel about that anyway. And I'm just going to take the entire folder and dump it into the Molsketch folder. And as expected, when you start up Molsketch, you still have OpenBabel support, but we're also still missing the INCI support. So we're going to set up the path for the OpenBabel file formats by going to Edit Preferences and then turning to the OpenBabel section of the settings or preferences. In the top half you can define the path to the OBabel iFace library that came with Molsketch, which you can put essentially anywhere you want. An absolute path here has to be the path to the file, otherwise it will just search the system path and or the Molsketch working directory, which is what we're going to do here. So we're not going to define an absolute path, but just the file name. And in the bottom part of this preferences dialog, you can define the folder where you put the OpenBabel formats, which is what I'm going to select now. And now you can see that we have the INCHI support, so the Wikidata search is now also enabled, and we can just start searching just like under Linux. It will take a little while, then it will come up with the results, and the list will also fill up gradually as discussed under Linux. And then the mechanics are just the same. Pick a molecule and drag it to your drawing area. And just as under Linux, sometimes this conversion process through OpenBabel yields some rather interesting results. So again, if you find anything that's grossly wrong or that's rather peculiar, please let me know.